What's up, guys? It's Alex, and welcome to my very first YouTube video. If you are watching this, you are a real one because it took so much time just to get to this point, okay? And it was not an easy process, you know? It's very new to me, obviously. I mean, I do make videos on TikTok. If you don't follow me there, make sure you follow me. It's mystical_Lexi. I'm a tarot reader. This is my first video, so I want it to be a little bit of an introduction and a story time, basically, of how I started tarot. How did I know I was a psychic? How did this all happen for me? So yeah, if you're interested in this kind of stuff, make sure you subscribe and hit the like button. That will really, motivate me to keep making videos. I can't even tell you how much I'm interested in all different types of things. It's so hard for me to keep a niche. I know that it's going to be hard for me, but this is mainly a spiritual channel. I am a tarot reader. I will be posting tarot readings. I will be posting pick-a-cards, probably monthly readings, and all of that good stuff. So it's going to be really, really fun. I'm also a huge believer in the law of attraction and manifestation. I've experienced a lot of that in my life, and I love to talk about it. So we could talk a lot about that. And yeah, so let's get into the story time of how I started reading tarot. How did I know I was a psychic? So I have worked at a diner since I was basically 14 years old. My mom growing up, sorry, my ring bell keeps going off. Can't do anything about that. So my mom growing up worked at a diner too, and she worked like three jobs growing up, so she was a hard worker. But she worked at a diner most of my life. So I grew up, hanging out in the diner a lot and just, I even would follow around the waiter sometimes and, learn how to, work with customers at a really young age. And they would even tip me sometimes. I'm not sure how legal that is, but yeah, it was fun to me at a young age. And I would just go there and be with my mom, and, I would go eat something. And so I grew up in diners, very much so. So I had my first job at that diner where my mom worked. And that's how I got the experience to kind of go on and go to this other diner. I'm not going to say the name, but yeah, I was there for a long time. I basically grew up there from 14 until 21 or 22, basically, until the pandemic hit. Unfortunately, when the pandemic hit, the business had to close down. It was really hard on me. It was, I literally, like I said, it was like a home to me because I grew up there and I had such a close bond with all my coworkers. And, I know that time was very hard on probably all of us. The pandemic was very, very hard and scary. And unfortunately, this happened to a lot of people. So I was out of work for like 8 months. And yeah, but long story short, a new diner reopened there. And that's where I currently work. I started working at an IHOP local, like close to me, within that 8 months because I was out of a job and I needed to do something. So I worked at an IHOP for a little bit, but then once my other coworkers started working there, a few of them, they were calling me saying to come back. So I did go back, and I'm so happy there. And yeah, it's definitely a new experience, but at least I'm back with some of my old coworkers who I love. But yeah, let's get to the story time of how this all happened. The reason why I'm mentioning this is because it ties into the story. So I'm a waitress. One of my regulars, he was very, very generous. He was a single guy. His name is Bob, and he's so nice, like super nice. And come in, and one day for my birthday, he got me a birthday gift, and it was really, really, really sweet. So I ended up opening it, and it was a tarot deck. And I literally, at that moment, I was like, whoa, because he had no idea that I was even interested in tarot or spirituality or, the unknown, because I'm very interested in that stuff. And I've always been drawn to it at a very young age. I always felt very different from a very young age. I always felt like there was a bigger purpose to my life. Not saying that, I feel like everyone has, their own purpose, and I feel like I was, very drawn to these sort of things, like the mystical, the magic of life, because I did see from a very young age that life is magical, and I've felt it, and I've always had very strong emotions. I'm a very strong empath, so I feel things very strongly, and I feel like that contributes to my readings a lot, is how strong I feel for other people. And I feel like emotions are huge messages in my practice. At that moment I was like, oh my goodness, like this feels right, and this is so weird to me that I was gifted from a random guy this tarot deck, because my sister reads tarot too, and she doesn't do it as serious as I've been doing it, but she does read tarot. And also my aunt in Greece, my mom's sister, reads tarot as well. Well, not tarot, she reads playing cards. So it runs in the family, sort of. So it was very, almost like the universe kind of, it was meant for me. That's how it felt. And I always had a strong intuition growing up. Like I very much could know things before they happened. Like that is a given. But I'm telling you, my emotions would, send me messages, and I've experienced like premonitions at a very young age, where I look back and I could still remember them vividly. I mean, it's very weird for me because some things I don't remember and some things I very much do. But that's the story. I basically got gifted this deck, and ever since then, everything has been kind of falling into place and aligning for me to continue to do this. I was very much and it's kind of hard for me to really be dedicated to something, and tarot was something that I loved and I wanted to dedicate myself to. All right, guys, reset. Hold on, this doesn't look right. Let's fix it. All right, guys, reset. My battery died, so yeah, that was a process. Anyway, so let's get back to where I was. I don't even know if I introduced myself. I'm Alex, by the way, and yeah, let's continue. So basically, everything after I got gifted my first deck. By the way, this is the deck that I got gifted. I love it. I use it all the time. It's called the Dreams of Gaia Tarot. So yeah, ever since I would use this guidebook. As you can see, I have like all the post-its I would mark, and this is a great book to learn for me. I mean, it's a more modernized deck, but then I got my Rider-Waite deck, which is like the classic deck that everyone used. I ended up buying that one and learning, and it was something that really caught my attention, and that's something that was kind of hard for me. Tarot was something that felt good and felt right, and it feels like something that I want to practice my whole entire life, and it just feels good. And I hope you guys could join me on this journey, and I'm really excited. A couple of cool things that happened after that is one of my friends that I knew, she knew some guys that had a podcast, the Picky Boys podcast, and they actually asked me to be on their podcast. So I gave them all readings, and it was such a fun experience. You guys could look, I think it's episode 55 on the Picky Boys podcast. So I was on that podcast, and also my friend Gaddy, which I've known since middle school. So basically, like, we grew apart after middle school, because it happens a lot of the time that when you go to high school, you grow apart from some people. So she found me on TikTok, and she asked me for a reading. Like, she was like, do you do readings in person? And I was like, oh, I wish I could, but most people that reach out for a reading are like in different states. So I would if I could, that would be ideal. And she was like, oh, let's do it in person. And I was like, oh my God. And I actually looked at who it was, and it was her. And I was like, whoa, like, what are the odds of that? You know what I mean? And we became friends now ever since. And her friend Carolina started a podcast shout out to them, the Pretty Honest Podcast. You should check them out on YouTube. So they just dropped an episode with me in it, so they asked me to be on their podcast and I gave the girls readings. So if you would like to check that out, it's coming out probably the day I post this first video, so that's really exciting. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this. This was just a little bit of an introduction. Please comment down below anything that you'd like to see from my channel. I'm definitely going to be posting a reading in the next few days, so keep a lookout for that. Make sure you like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Thank you so much. If you came all the way to this point, you are a real one. Thank you for watching my first video. I'm really, happy I finally got to film it because it's something that I've been wanting to do for a really long time. So I appreciate your support and your love, and, live each day with love, and, cherish each moment, because you can make it magical if you want. That's my little advice for the day. Anyway, guys, bye.